Merci Randy. Puis tout le monde d'être ici aujourd'hui. C'est une bonne journée pour les travailleurs. On est un gouvernement pour les travailleurs, on écoute les travailleurs et on livre des résultats pour les travailleurs. The fundamentals of our economy right now are strong. 2 weeks ago, the finance minister released the government's fall economic statement. Our unemployment rate remains at a historic low of 5.7%. We have the fastest job recovery in the G7. Over 1 million more Canadians are working than before the pandemic. But workers aren't necessarily feeling it. Workers are anxious. They are anxious about automation. They're anxious about the cost of living. They're anxious about an energy transition that's going full steam ahead and a changing labor market where their skills may not be needed next year. When people are anxious, they cling to the familiar. It's natural. But what's familiar today may not very well be obsolete tomorrow. Les travailleurs ont besoin de stabilité. Ils doivent savoir qu'ils vont avoir un emploi demain et l'an prochain. Peut-être pas le même emploi, mais un bon emploi. Ils doivent avoir confiance en l'avenir. Ever since I became Minister of Labour, I've heard from unions time and again that they want a seat at the table. They want a seat at the table. They want a seat at the table where the decisions are made, where the big challenges are faced. And I've always said workers will have a lot more than a seat at the table. They will lead it. They will lead the table. Who else knows how to train electricians, carpenters, bricklayers? Who else knows how to properly tighten in the screws on a pipeline so the methane doesn't leak? Who else knows how to erect a wind turbine or a solar panel? Workers do. Only they do. So they'll lead it. That's what today is about. The union-led advisory table will bring together 14 labor leaders from across Canada with expertise different across sectors to advise the government on the big challenges and opportunities of our time. They'll consider issues like automation, like the energy transition, like the labor shortage. We'll focus on supporting skilled mid-career workers in sectors that are seeing the biggest changes. And it will be chaired by President of the Canadian Labour Congress, Bruske. On va être guidé par la diversité, l'équité et l'inclusion. Si on ne le fait pas, on ne va pas avoir les meilleures personnes à table. The advisory table will share its recommendations with the government later in 2024 to inform policies and investments. This may sound odd, I think, to say to a group of reporters that we've gathered here, but really all of this is nothing new. We've already got some of our best counsel from unions. The clean tax credits, paid sick leave, sustainable jobs plans, those policies would never have happened without the advice and the wise counsel and the advocacy of unions. And it's not just labor policy. Childcare, dental care, health care. Unions pushed for all that progress. Quand les travailleurs s'organisent, ils peuvent demander plus de leur employeur et du gouvernement. C'est une bonne chose. On rend ça officiel aujourd'hui. Thank you very much. Merci. Buddy, over to you.
Okay, look at that. Well, thanks very much, Seamus. Bonjour tout le monde. Welcome. Let me acknowledge the territory that we gather on today's the ancestral territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. And Seamus, it really is a pleasure to do this with you today as Minister of Labour. When we both got sworn into our respective jobs, we knew that we had work to do. And I can tell you that back when Seamus was Minister of Natural Resources, he brought people together in a way that had us have adult conversations about where we were heading with net zero, where we were heading as a country. And I'm here in part because he brought the temperature down in the country. And he has said, and now Jonathan, who's the Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, and I have said it and I will say it again, there is no pathway to net zero for our country without workers. And the unions represented behind us are part of that transition. And part of that future, whether it's on EVs, whether it's building plants from coast to coast, whether it is making sure that we have fantastic people in the healthcare profession. And so, as Minister of Employment, Workforce Development and Official Languages, or as I shorten it to the Minister of Jobs and Official Languages, we're going to make sure that Canada's workforce is 21st century ready. And ensuring that our workers are not only protected, but have every opportunity available to them is work that we can and must do together. Canadians are among the hardest working people in the world. Canadians enjoy applying their talents, developing their skills, and contributing to building up their communities from coast to coast to coast. Les Canadiens méritent d'avoir la possibilité d'obtenir un emploi bien rémunéré dans la classe moyenne, où qu'ils soient au pays d'un océan à l'autre. And all sectors have a role to play in investing in Canadian workers, providing the necessary training and education to help workers get the most out of our growing and evolving economy. Government, industry, and unions share in this leadership. That is leadership that we can all do together. And for over 100 years, unions have paved the way for workers in this country. I expect the next 100 years to be even better. And that is why, as Seamus said, we're creating a seat at the decision-making table for union voices. Comme a dit le ministre O'Regan, c'est exactement pourquoi nous sommes en train de créer un siège permanent à la table décisionnelle pour les dirigeants syndicaux. Workers need to be actively engaged about the future of work, and labor leaders need to be at the forefront of our planning for the long term. And to find the best path forward, we need to hear directly from the source. So today, we're pleased to officially launch the union-led advisory table, bringing together government unions and trade associations to tackle challenges, support workers, and be there for Canadians. C'est pourquoi nous sommes très heureux aujourd'hui de lancer officiellement la table consultative dirigée par les syndicats. As Minister O'Regan mentioned, 14 labor leaders will now be meeting over the course of the coming months, and they will give us their recommendations on ways to help workers in the ever-changing labor market. They'll pay particular attention to helping skilled mid-career workers affected by industry changes get training and prepare for in-demand jobs. Our skilled workers are incredible, innovative, hardworking, whose talents are critical just as much today as they will be tomorrow. And this forum will be looking at promoting ongoing skills development, identifying the needs of workers in sectors facing challenges and disruptions, supporting diversity and inclusion, and helping workers to prepare for retirement. Unions know what that looks like, and unions know how to get there. I'd like to thank every member of the advisory table for their dedication. Thank you for helping us to build an agile workforce that can find and keep good, well-paying jobs in growing sectors and in new fields. Because Canadian workers are the foundation of Canada's success, of our economy, of our society, not only our past accomplishments, but of the bright and ambitious future ahead. Les travailleurs canadiens sont à la base de la réussite du Canada, de notre économie, de notre société, non seulement des réussites du passé, mais aussi de l'avenir radieux et ambitieux qui nous attend. And the secret to that success lies in seizing the opportunity to unleash the potential of every single Canadian. And the union-led advisory table will help us to do just that. And it starts today with the first of our many meetings. I thank everyone for being here. B, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be standing here with Ministers O'Regan and Minister Boissonnault, as well as the Labour leaders behind me. And I would like to thank very much the government for taking this very needed step. Our economy and our labour markets are undergoing transitions, and it's crucial that governments listen to workers, and because really workers are the engine of our economy. Our workforce, we know, is changing very rapidly with environmental transitions as well as digitalization of work that we are seeing. And to achieve a smooth transition, it's utmost importance for workers to be considered and for workers to be heard. This advisory table will provide that voice for workers. I'm excited to be part of this initiative, and that will ensure that workers from a variety of sectors are represented and listened to. And that will guide the conversation on what Canada needs to do to strengthen our workforce and to ensure that workers find their footing in this changing economy. Unions have led the way in the face of the ongoing affordability crisis, and we know that in order to stabilize our economy, we need workers at the decision-making table to be at the heart of Canada's economy. With the workforce that's aging, we will need continuous learning as well as retention measures to allow senior workers to choose whether to remain in the workforce or not, and we have to offer pathways for these workers who wish to remain in the workforce. Simultaneously, as Canada's economy is shifting and the workforce is changing to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by mid-century, we know that the shift to good, sustainable jobs will continue to require significant investments in labor adjustment, in upskilling, in reskilling pathways, and labor market support for workers. This new union-led advisory table will complement the Sustainable Jobs Partnership Council. It will not duplicate it. Workers are also experiencing the rapid integration of artificial intelligence as well as increasing digitalization in almost every sector that we see in every industry and in every occupation. So now more than ever, Canada needs effective union involvement in the design and implementation of skills training, vocational education, training and apprenticeships, and in continuous learning. We know the shift will require significant investments in vocational education and training, labor adjustment, as well as in new job creation. Canada's unions are ready to do the work, and we're ready to work with government to make sure that no worker across the country is left behind, and I want to thank the ministers for the announcement today.
Questions?
We answered all the questions.
We had such good answers. Okay, great. Okay.
Bien fait tout le monde. Mais c'est ça, tellement bien